Hello and welcome now to lecture 21, and yeah, let's make a start on making our bifolding doors here in our bedrooms. I did notice here though that this window that I made a copy of from this one, I need to send that over to bedroom 2, so I'm just going to grab it here, window 001, and just drag and drop into the bedroom 2 file. There we go. Alright, now what to do? I think I have to make sure that when we create this door again, we make sure it goes into bedroom 1. So I'll click on bedroom 1 like that. And now I'll press Shift A and Mesh and Cube. And let's bring this up like this. And let's press 7 to go into the orthographic view. And let's go ahead and go into wireframe now. And let's hit S straight away and scale this down till we get a sort of frame size, something like this. Maybe scale it up slightly in the X, so S and X, bring this up like this, and scale it down the Y, so SY, bring it down, and I think that's pretty good. I'll take this over now until it's kind of sitting where I want it, which is something like this. There we go, that's good. And now let's go ahead and scale that up in the Z axis. So I'll grab it and we'll press SZ and just expand on this and go again, S and Z, and just pull this up like that. Alright, let's press 3 on the numpad to get us in the orthographic view, and then let's tap into edit mode with it. And I'll press 1 on the keyboard to get me the vertices selection. And let's just drag these vertices down now to where we want them. And I don't want them on the finished floor. I'm going to stop them a little bit above. And the reason for that will become clear later. We'll leave it at that. And on the top here, let's do the same. Let's pull these up now until they are flush with the top. No caps. There we go. That's what I want. That's cool. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I'll press 2 on the keyboard so I can select edges. Grab an edge like this and I'll press Ctrl R. I'll roll the mouse wheel once to get 2 loops like that. Now I'll go ahead and scale them up in the Z, so I'll press S and Z and just pull those up until I get... Is that too much? Not enough? I think that's about right. I think that's good. Now that I've done that, I'll tap out of edit mode for a minute and I'll grab this and I'll press Shift D and Y and bring a copy across now to the opposite side. To make sure it's in the right position, I'll press 3 on the numpad. And I've got to admit that's confused me. I'll press I'll press Ctrl 3 and see if that makes more sense. And it doesn't. What's going on? Oh, I see it now. It's just here like this. We were seeing information from this side, which was confusing me. Let's just stay in the perspective view for a moment, and we'll get this over. Maybe I'll press 7. Maybe that helps. That helps now to bring that in position. That's what I should have done in the first place. There we go. And that's good. Let's grab both of these now. Let's press Ctrl J to join them together into one again. And then let's tap into edit mode. Let's press 3 so we can select faces. Grab this face here on the front. And let's grab this face here. And let's right click and let's bridge faces. And there we go. Let's do the same down here now. Grab this one and this one, right click and bridge faces. Okay, let's go back to solid mode now and see how we're looking, see what it looks like, and I think it's looking okay. Tell you what I'll do now is let's just isolate this. So I'll hit the / key on the numpad and see if I'm happy. And I think these verticals are a little too wide. I'm seeing that now. So I want to do something with that. So I'll tap into edit mode and I'll grab this face here and I'll just take that back a little bit. to get that more like it. That looks slightly better now, I think. And I'll do the same with this one. Just take that back a little bit. They were just looking too thick a profile. There we go, that's better. Okay, now that we've done that, let's select this face here, and I'll hold Control, and I'll select this bottom face here, and I'll select all the faces in that loop. And now I'll do the same here. I'll hold Control and grab this one, and just grab these last couple. There we go. I'll right click and I'll delete those faces. We don't need those faces anymore. And now let's select edges, so I'll press 2, and let's just grab some of these edges. And I don't know if we'll be able to dissolve all these surplus edges, but we'll give it a go. So let's grab those ones, right click and dissolve edges. And yeah, we can do those. And we'll just see. We may not be able to dissolve all of them, we'll see. Let's grab those 4 there and right click and dissolve edges. And that's alright. And these ones as well. Right click and dissolve edges. And it's left us 2 there. It wants us to keep those, so we'll do that. And we'll grab this one and this one. Right click and dissolve edges. And I wonder if we can do these 2. I'm not sure. Let's right click and try. And no, Blender wants us to hold on to those edges, so we'll do that. Okay, so now what do we want to do? I want to put some more details on this, I think. I want to put some sort of grooves in place for the doors to be able to run on, so I think we'll do that next. Let's grab this one here, and let's press Ctrl R and put a loop in. Roll the mouse wheel once to get like an extra loop in there, so we've got like that. Let's hold Alt and grab that whole thing. Hold Shift and Alt and grab this one. I didn't need to deselect it really, I'm not sure why I did. And let's scale that down in the X. I'll press S and X and just bring those closer together. Let's do that again. And a bit more again. There we go. Yep, I think that's good, just like that. And now that we've done that, I think the next thing I want to do is grab a face. So I'll press 3 and grab this face here now. And I'm going to press E for extrude and take that down in the Z axis. There we go, that's cool. Let's have a look at that this way and see what that looks like. And yeah, that's looking good. Let's do the same on the top here. We'll grab maybe this face here. And we'll press E for extrude and take that up in the Z axis like that. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's grab this one here now, this middle one here like this. And this time I'm going to extrude it outwards or into the middle of the frame. So I'll press E and Y and just bring this out a little bit like this. And now on this point on this tab, I'm going to click on Dissolve Orthogonal Edge. And there we go. And let's do the same on the opposite side here now. So let's grab this face here. And let's press E and just bring this out. And now let's dissolve orthogonal edge. There we go, that's cool. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode, and the scale is all right, so let's do that. So Control A, apply rotation and scale, and that's looking good. And let's see if we can apply a bevel to this now and see how it looks. I'll zoom in so I can see what's going to happen. And let's add modifier. We'll grab it first. Add modifier, generate, and bevel. And the bevel doesn't want to work, surprisingly. I thought it would, but no. So let's see if we turn off geometry clamping. Clamp overlay, let's turn that off. And of course it all turns to a mess, but that's okay. Let's add 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. Click enter and see what we get. I'm not sure where the issue is there, to be honest, with the bevel. It could be in this corner here that it's not happy, but it's so minimal that I'm not going to worry about it. So here in the segments, let's turn that into 2, and I think that's just fine. So let's go ahead and apply that bevel. And let's go ahead and do a shade auto smooth on it and see what we get. And there we go, that's our frame done. Let's grab it and find it, and there it is. It's called Cube, so let's call it Bifolding Doors. There we go. And let's hit the / key to bring everything back and see what our frame looks like. And yeah, I think that's looking just fine. So while we're here, we can actually make a copy of this, drag it over to the opposite side here, and we're going to need to do a little bit of work on it, but let's do that. Let's grab this now, and let's press Shift D and X, and bring a copy over now to over here like this. Let's press 7 on the numpad to get us that orthographic view, and let's go into wireframe. Let's right click, and let's set the origins to the geometry, and now bring this over again until we're middle of that column. Let's tap into edit mode with this one, and let's press 1 so we can select vertices. Let's grab all the vertices on this side here and pull them over now until they're fitting. There we go, that's what we want. Okay, let's go back to solid mode and see what we've got. And yeah, that's fitting just fine. So there's our frames in place now for our bifolding doors, and I think they've worked out well. We could actually name this one, so let's have a look at this and where it is. It's currently in bedroom 1 and we don't want that there, so let's put it into bedroom 2. So let's grab it and just drag and drop into bedroom 2, and there we go. Okay, so that's the end of this lecture, and in the next lecture let's start work on the actual doors which will be running in this track and sort of concertinaing to a flat and then coming out again. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye for now. Hello, and welcome now to lecture 23, and yeah, let's continue with our bifolding doors and see if we can finish them in this lecture. So the first thing I noticed is I think the handles should actually be on this side of the door. I think I've got that wrong, apologies for that, but we'll soon fix that. So let's grab the door here, and let's press Shift S and bring cursor to the selected. There we go. So we've brought the cursor to the center of this door. Then let's grab these handles and let's right click and set the origins to the 3D cursor. There we go. Now we can grab the door and we can grab the handles and we can go ahead and rotate those. So let's press R, Z, 180, enter, and there we go. That's brought the door around the way I think I want it. The next thing I want to do is affect the pivot point of this door. If I currently rotate it, it's going to rotate from its center point. And from now on, I don't want it to do that. I want it to rotate from this end here. So let's do that next. So I'll grab this door and I'll tap into edit mode. Make sure you got edge selection on. Grab this edge here and press Shift S and cursor to the selected. And there we go. Now we can tap out of edit mode, grab the door, right click and set the origin to the 3D cursor. Now when we rotate that door, it's going to rotate from that point. Okay, so the next thing to do is go ahead and set the origin of these handles as well to the 3D cursor. So select both of them, right click and set the origin to the 3D cursor. There we go. Let's grab this door now and let's press 7 to see it from above. And let's just rotate it ever so slightly like this. I don't want the doors to be completely flat. I want them to have some sort of rotation to explain what they do. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and press Shift D and Y and bring a copy over like this. And now let's rotate that. Maybe bring it over a bit more. And rotate it again. And bring it over a little bit more. So G and Y. Bring it over and now rotate it again until we get these ends here sort of meeting up. So I'll bring that down a little bit more and hopefully this will be the one. So rotate And there we go. And I'll bring those so they're just kind of just touching like that. Now that I've done that, I'll actually delete these handles. I don't want them on this door. And now I'll grab this door and I'll press Shift D and Y and make another copy again and bring it out like this. Let's go into wireframe so we can see what we're doing, and now rotate this one until it's nearly at 90 degrees like that. Maybe a little bit off, but not much. There we go. Let's press Shift D and Y and bring another copy down again. And now let's rotate that one until it's touching this door. I'll bring this in a little bit. And there we go, that's cool. Maybe in actually just a little bit more. Maybe I'll rotate it a tiny bit, bring it in a little bit more. And let's make another copy again. So we'll press Shift D and Y, bring a copy out like this. And rotate that one a little bit. Something like that. Now bring it over so it's touching the door at this end now. There we go. And now let's grab maybe this door here. And I'll press Shift D and Y and bring a copy out like this. There we go. Let's see what this looks like and see what we've got. Let's go back into solid mode now and see what all this looks like. And yeah, I think that's looking really good. I mean, we could if we wanted to, we could bring some of these panels further out and put some more angles on them, but I think that kind of suggests what's going on. So I'll grab all the doors like this, and I'll just take them over a little bit more in the Y, so they're close to this rail like that. And yeah, that's looking good. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that would be about right. So if they were closing up, they would cover that distance. Okay, so our door's looking really good now, and I think the next thing we need to do is go ahead and make duplicates of all these doors here and put them on the opposite side there. So I think the first thing I want to do is go ahead and join these doors together. So I'll grab the first one, then all the others, and there they are there, and I'll press Ctrl J and join them all into one like that. And there, that's good. So now let's go ahead and name that. So I'll just name that bifolding doors. And just put 2 on that because it's kind of the same description as the one above. And now that we've done that, let's go ahead and bring everything back. So I'll hit the / key on the numpad. And what shall we do next? So we're going to mirror these doors onto this side as well. So to do that, we need to change the origins of these doors. Let's grab this frame here and then this frame here. And with that done, let's press Shift S and cursor to the selected. So the cursor will come in dead center of these 2 doors. And with that done, let's grab this one here, right click and set the origin to the 3D cursor. And there we go. And let's do the same with these doors now as well. So we'll grab these and we'll right click and we'll set origin to the 3D cursor. And we'll also do the same with the handles. There we go. Right click and set the origin to the 3D cursor. There we go, that's cool. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to make a duplicate copy of these and mirror them over to the opposite side. And to do that, we normally press Shift D. But in this case, I don't want to do that. I'm going to press Alt D. And there's a very good reason for doing that, because when you use Alt D instead of Shift D, the 2 components share the same information. So when I apply textures to these doors, the same textures will be applied to these doors. So it's going to save us a lot of time in applying glass textures and wood textures to these doors, because it'll automatically do it on the opposite one as well. And also, it will also help reduce the file size too, keeping our file size as small as possible. So that said, let's grab these doors and the handles. And with all those selected, let's press Alt D. Let's try that again. I'll press Alt D. And I'm going to right click twice. And I'm going to go ahead and mirror in the y-axis. Let's see what happens. And that was actually wrong. So let's try the x-axis. And now let's cancel the y-axis. And that's put the doors in exactly the right place. There we go, that's cool. Let's see if we can find these doors, and there they are, bifolding doors 2. Let's drag this down into bedroom 2 and put that right there like that. And there's this one as well. And yeah, that's okay actually. And where are our handles? Do we have 2 sets of handles in this case? Let's find this handle here, and there it is. So let's bring that handle down into bedroom 2. And let's find this other handle here now. And let's bring that into bedroom 2 as well. And there we go. That's cool. And I think what I'll do here in bedroom 2 and bedroom 1 is I'm going to create like a subgroup for all the bifolding door parts. So let's do that. So I'll start with bedroom 1. Let's grab this and let's create a subfolder. And let's call this bifolding door. Yeah, let's call it bifolding door. Parts. There we go. And let's go ahead and grab this one and put it in there. And this one and put it in there. And the keyhole, let's grab this as well and put it in there. And there we go. We've reduced that one as well and just kept that down to a minimum. So that's just simply simplified that. Let's do the same with bedroom 2. Let's grab it and let's create a subfile. And let's name it. And we'll call this bifolding door parts as well. I'll call it 2, bifolding door parts 2. And now I'll grab these items. And I'll go ahead and drag them into that subfolder. And there we go, that's cool. That's helped things out a little bit there. Okay, so that's it for the bifolding doors, and they're looking really good. So in the next lecture, let's go ahead and start putting our polished concrete floors down in our bedrooms and on our veranda. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye-bye for now. Hello, and welcome now to lecture 24. And in this lecture, let's do our polished concrete floors in our bedrooms and here on the veranda. So let's start with bedroom 1. So let's click on bedroom 1. And now let's press Shift A and mesh, and let's bring in a plane. There we go. Let's press 7 so we see it orthographically. And let's go into wireframe mode. And we'll pull it over like this and just take it back to the wall. See where it's at. Take it back a little bit more. There we go. And let's tap into edit mode with that and press 1 for vertices selection. We can grab these vertices here and take them over a little bit more, maybe to about there like that. And then we can grab these ones and take it back. And we can grab these ones here and take it back. There we go. Okay, so let's extrude that. So let's press 3 so we can select faces. Grab this face here and we'll press E and just take that down a little bit like that. There we go. That's the first one done. So now we can actually extrude those, bevel those edges. So we could grab this edge here. And I'll grab this one too in this case, because we're going to make a duplicate of this one. And now that we got those edges selected, let's sort of zoom in a bit and let's press Ctrl B and apply a bevel to those edges. And I'll apply something like that with, what's that, 3 segments, and that's just what I want. Okay, I'll tap out of edit mode with this one and take a look at that, and that looks pretty good. So I'll press 7 and I'll press Shift D and Y, and bring that copy over. You may be wondering why now I'm not using Alt-D so that I can apply the same materials to all these surfaces. And the reason being because I don't want these surfaces to be exactly the same. So if I use the Alt-D, then I'd have exactly the same surface on each one, and I get something that's called tiling, which is when you get a repeat surface on each one. So by making them separate components, that means I can play around with the texture on each surface and make each one slightly individual. So I'll pull that in that little bit more now. There we go, that's good. And I'll press 7. And I'll press Shift D and Y. And maybe just bring this one over here like this. And I think I'll tap into this one again now. And I'll press 1 for vertices selection, grab these vertices here, and maybe just take this over a little bit more like this. I'll tap out of edit mode with this one, grab this one and tap in. And I grab these vertices here, and take this one back. And now let's go ahead and take these ones to the window. There we go, just like that. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode with this and see what we've got. And what these sort of grooves in this will represent is when you get these polished concrete floors, you usually get what they call an expansion joint between them. So that's what we're showing in this instance, is the sort of expansion joint between the floors. I might take this over a tiny bit more to something like that. That's good. And there we go. Okay, so let's join these into one component. So we'll grab all 3 of those, and we've got all 3. There they are. There. Press Ctrl J. And join them into one. And let's go ahead and name that. And I'll call that floor 1. And there we go. Okay, so that's that one done. Let's compress bedroom 1. And let's click on bedroom 2 now. And let's press 7. And let's press Shift A. And mesh and plane. And let's kind of repeat this process. So I'll bring this over like this. Bring it into the corner. I'll tap into edit mode with it. I'll grab these vertices here and pull these over. And now grab these vertices and pull these over as well. There we go, something like that. Okay, let's press 3. And let's grab the surface. And let's press E and extrude that down to get some thickness in it. And now let's press 2, grab this edge here, hold Shift and grab this edge as well, zoom in a little bit, and press Ctrl B and bevel those edges. To get something like that, I'm happy with that. Alright, let's press 7. Let's tap out of edit mode with this one. And now let's press Shift D and Y and bring a copy over now. Let's bunch it up to the other one. And I'll just go into perspective view to see how close they are with each other, and that's kind of what I want. And I'll press 7 again. And I'll grab this one and I'll press Shift D and Y, and I'll bring a third one over now to something like this. I'll tap into edit mode, press 1 so I can select vertices, grab these vertices here and take these back until they're touching the window or even a little bit inside the window. I'll grab the end vertices here now and I'll take this over so it's inside the wall like that. And there we go, I think that's that one done. Let's just zoom in on this and see how these surfaces look, and that looks fine. Okay, let's grab these 3 panels here now, and let's press Ctrl J and join them together. And let's call this floor 2. There we go. And now let's press 1 on the numpad and then go ahead and bring this floor down until it's touching the finished floor. There we go. That's that in place. Okay, so that's bedroom 2 done, and that's that sorted. So let's compress bedroom 2 file. Let's click on veranda. Let's press 7. And let's press Shift A and mesh and plane. And now let's bring this plane over like this until it's kind of living under most, if not all, of the bathroom wall. So something like that, I'd say. And now let's tap into edit mode. Grab these vertices here and take these over like this. There we go. And then we'll grab these vertices too and take these over as well until they're touching the bifolding door. Okay, that's good. Let's press 2. Or actually, before we go ahead and press 2, let's just tap out of edit mode with this one. And let's press Shift D and Y and bring a copy out like this. There we go. Let's grab this one, tap into edit mode with this one. Let's grab this edge here and press Ctrl R to bring a loop in. And now bring that loop up to that corner like this. Let's press 1 so we can select vertices. Grab these 2 vertices here now and press E and extrude this out in the Y axis. I'll hit Y and just bring this forward until it's kind of level with the wall like that. There we go, that's complete. Okay, so now what? Let's tap out of edit mode with this one. Let's grab this one now and let's zoom in a little bit. Let's press G and Y and just bring this in like this. Let's grab both surfaces now and let's hit the tab key to go into edit mode. Let's grab these 2 top surfaces. So I'll press 3 and then grab this surface, hold shift and grab this surface. And this one and this one. Or actually, I could just press A for all. And now let's go ahead and extrude these. So I'll press E and just bring these down to form a slight extrusion. Something like that will be fine. Okay, I'm going to grab just maybe a couple of edges. I'm going to grab this one, hold shift, grab this one, and this one, this one. Whoops, let's try that again. So I'll grab this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And with those selected, I'll press Ctrl B and go ahead and bevel those edges. That's a bit too much, so I'll zoom that out a little bit, just reduce that. And I'd say that's more like it, maybe even one less than that. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode with those 2 now and see what we've got. And let's press 7. And maybe just take that up a little bit more so it's close to the other one. There we go. And maybe now let's tap back into edit mode with this one. And let's press 7 and let's press 1. Grab these vertices here and just bring this back a little bit more to maybe something like that. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode with this one. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's bring in our last plane, or let's make our last plane. So let's press Shift A and let's bring in a plane. Let's bring it forward like this. And let's make it touch the other surface, just this one here. That's it, something like that. And now straight away, let's tap into edit mode and press 1 so we can select edges or vertices. Bring this one forward until it's kind of just touching there like that. Let's grab these 2 now and bring these over. until that's just on the window like this. And let's do the same on the other side. Grab these ones, bring these over until that's just touching the window as well. There we go, that's cool. Okay, let's press 2, grab this edge here, and let's press Ctrl R, and let's bring a loop forward like this. There we go, that's cool. Now that we've done that, let's grab this edge here like this, and press E and X, and bring this back until it's just shy of the edge of the veranda. Now grab this other one here, right click and dissolve that edge. Let's do the same on this side. Let's grab this edge here and let's press E and X and then bring this one back. Let's grab this one now, right click and dissolve that edge. Alright, that's cool. Let's go back to solid mode for a while now. And let's select these faces. I'll grab this one and hold shift and grab this one. And I'm going to press E and just take down a slight extrusion like this. There we go. Let's press 2 so we can grab edges. Grab this edge here, hold shift and grab this one and this one and this one. And with those 3 edges selected, let's press Ctrl B to bevel, and let's just bevel that edge slightly until we get something like that. That's cool. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode with that. Let's grab all 3 of these floors. Let's press 1 so that you see that they're all in the same height. And it looks like this one is actually a little bit higher. So actually I'll just grab this one here on its own now, just this one, and press 1 again, and maybe go to wireframe mode. And maybe I'll just bring this down in the Z axis until it's level at the top, like that. There we go. Okay, let's go back into solid mode now then. And let's go ahead and grab all 3 of these floors. And let's press Ctrl J and join them all together. Let's press 1. And then let's bring this down until it's sitting on the floor. There we go. That's cool. That's exactly what I want. Yep, that's spot on. Let's just have a look at this, and it's still called plane, so let's name it. And we'll call this floor 3. And there we go. That's done. Okay, so there's all our polished concrete floors in position. And I think with the next lecture, let's start putting in some doors, which one will be here, and one will be here for the bathroom. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye for now. Hello, and welcome to lecture 25. And in this one, yeah, let's start putting some single doors, one here for the bathroom and then one here for the hallway. So let's see if we can do something with that. So let's go ahead and have a look in Blender Kit, but before I do that, just come over to these filters, click on this one and turn on free first. There we go. And now let's click on this and just type in doors and click enter, and let's see what we get. And we got some nice looking doors, but they don't really, these ones don't suit what we're doing. This is too old. This is more like a completely interior door. That one's quite nice. I think that one would probably suit what we're doing. Oh, that's a little too gold and black, and that one's okay. Obviously not. No. And they go on, so you can kind of search through and see what you like. But I think I'm going to go back and choose this door here. So I'll left click on it and bring it into the model. And there we go. I think I'm just going to bring it forward for a moment on its empty. just to sort of have a look at it and see what it looks like and make sure it's what we want. And I would say that's the right orientation, so that's good. Let's press 1 and then grab the door empty here. Whoops, we'll just grab it. There we go. Nope. We'll find it in a minute. There it is. And I'll press 1. And now I'll bring this down and just drop this on the finished floor level like this. There we go, just like that. I'll take it over on the x-axis. And we will put it sort of, this is where I'm thinking something like that. Okay, now that I've done that, I think the next thing I'm going to do is bring in a cube. So I'll press Shift A and Mesh and Cube. And I'm going to bring this over the door like this. And I'm going to go ahead and scale that down the X. So I'll press S and X, bring this down like this. Maybe scale it down a tiny bit more in the X. SX, bring it down a tiny bit more. To something like that, centralize that. And I'll bring this down on the Z axis. And now scale it up on the Z, so SZ. And go ahead and take this up. And just place that some. Okay, so now we have the cube the size that we want it. Well, I wouldn't call it a cube anymore, but now that we have this item that we want it, I'm going to just pull it back a little bit. And I'll look at the scale and it's out, so I'll press Ctrl A. And apply the rotation and scale. And now I'll pull it back into the wall like this. Okay, so now let's go ahead and cut the wall with this. So let's grab the wall. Let's add modifier, generate, and we'll use a Boolean modifier. Grab the little dropper tool and click on this like this. Let's see if that worked. So we'll find this item. It's here in Veranda and just hide it for a moment. And yeah, that cutter has worked. I won't apply that cutter for a moment. I'll just leave it just like that in case we need to expand that. And then I'll grab the door and I'll go ahead and bring the whole door back in the y-axis like this. Maybe I'll press 7 to see this from above. And I'll go ahead and take this back in the y-axis like this. That's perfect, that's what I want. Let's have a look at it on the other side and see how it looks. And yeah, that's looking fine to me. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, the next thing I want to do is just have a look at this door like this and see where its pivot point is. And it's right there in the corner, so we could actually just press RZ and just open the door slightly like this. Just sort of leading then into the hallway. I'm not going to open it all the way, just want to put a little bit of something there. There we go, so that's our door. So let's find this door. And it's here in the Veranda, so I'll compress this file here. And this is probably where it should be actually. And I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm done with that. Okay, so now we're happy with that one. Let's think about doing the bathroom door next. And because we're going to have really quite a large hot tub here, I don't think we're going to have a lot of space for a traditional hinge door. So I'm thinking about using a sliding door for this one. So let's see what we can do. So let's type here in BlenderKit. Let's type sliding and see what we get. And we've got a sliding door there. I'm going to right click on that and see what it looks like. And that's the kind of thing. But that one's a bit nicer. I think I'd prefer that one, a bit more traditional, a bit more what I'm looking for. Or there's that one there as well. Let's right click on that one, see what the file size is. And it's 25 megabytes. What's this one? Whoops, let's just see what the file size is. It's 7 megabytes. I accidentally downloaded it, but I'm happy with that. It's 7 megabytes, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'll grab it's empty and press 1 and bring the door down like this. And now take it over. And I'm going to close this, we don't need that now. And bring the door over a little bit more like this. And maybe just bring it down a little bit on the Z axis until it looks something like that. So I think I'm going to use the cube that I cut this one to cut this door as well. So what I need to do first is go ahead and apply this Boolean modifier before I move that cube over. So I'll do that. Let's go ahead and apply this. And let's turn this cube back on now. We'll grab it and take it over like this. Let's press 1 so we see this from the front again and see what's happening. Maybe bring this over something like this. And yeah, I think that's fine. That's exactly what we're looking for now. So with that done, let's apply a modifier to the walls again. So I'll pick up the walls, add modifier, generate, and Boolean. Grab the dropper and just click on this like this. We could hide this cube again for a minute and just check that's actually worked, and it has, so that's good. And now we'll grab the empty for this door and go ahead and take this door back into position like this. And we'll take this back a little bit more maybe. And there we go. That's what I'm looking for. That's absolutely fine. And that's our door done. So let's just check where it is. And it's right there. And that's good for me. And this cube here, let's just grab this wall. And let's go ahead and apply this modifier for this Boolean, for this bathroom cutout. And let's go ahead and apply it then. And then the cube, we can bring that back and we can go ahead and delete that. And that's that. Okay, I think there's one more thing I want to do, and that's to apply a bevel to this edge here. And it looks like the cube that we used to cut out for this door has just taken a little cut out of the floor as well. But it's really not the end of the world because we've got some wooden boarding for the flooring in the bathroom. So that'll cover that just fine. Okay, let's tap into edit mode with this. And maybe grab this edge here. Hold shift, grab this one, and this one, and this one. And that should be plenty. Let's zoom in a little so we can see it. And now let's press Ctrl B. And we'll just apply a slight bevel to that edge like that. Maybe increase our segments to maybe 4. And there we go, that's done. Let's tap out of edit mode and see what we think. And yeah, that's looking good now. Okay, so that is pretty much us done for these two doors. I think they're looking fine. So let's check what these look like in the outliner. And we have wooden sliding door. Let's turn that off and turn it on. And that's just there. And there's the main door. And they're both in place and they're looking fine. Okay, so in the next lecture, let's start looking at putting a roof on our first floor. Alright, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now. Hello, and welcome now to lecture 22. And let's carry on with our bifolding doors, and let's start making our actual doors to go inside the frame. Yeah, let's give this a go. So let's grab the frame itself. I think that's all we need. So let's hit the / key on the numpad to isolate the frame. And next thing to do is press Shift A. And let's bring in a plane. Let's press 1 so we see this from the front. And then rotate this bring this plane up on the Z axis. And now let's rotate it on the X axis. So RX 90, enter. Let's get this the right size to begin with. So let's bring it to the middle of the door like this. And that's far too wide. So let's scale that down in the X, so SX. And bring that down to about that size. And then bring it over to about this point like this. Let's go into wireframe. And let's go ahead and scale this up now. In the Z axis only, so SZ. Bring this up. bring it down on the Z axis. Maybe let's tap into edit mode now and grab this top vertices and take this up until it's just a little bit below the top of the door frame like that. Let's do the same with the bottom. Let's bring the bottom vertices down so it's just above the top of the base of the door frame. And there we go, that's kind of what I'm after. Let's grab these vertices now, and am I happy with the position? Actually, I think I am. I think I'll leave those just where they are. Okay, so let's tap out of edit mode now and have a look at our frame, and I think that's fine. So the next thing to do is let's go into solid mode. Okay, so let's click on the item and look at the scale and the rotation, and they're both out, so let's press Ctrl A and apply rotation and scale, and that's fixed that. So let's tap into edit mode with that, and let's select the face and let's inset. So let's press I and inset a frame. Oh, I'd say something like that should be good. And now that we've done that, let's press A for all, and let's go ahead and extrude that. So we'll press E and extrude this out nicely to get some thickness to this frame like that. And that's cool. Now let's grab this center panel on its own, and now let's press E and take that back in like this. There we go. And let's make sure that dissolve orthogonal edge is on like that. There we go. Let's grab this other one and let's press E and take that in as well, and make sure that dissolve orthogonal edge is on. And there we go. It's really easy to create our door. It's almost as simple as that. Obviously this is the glass in the middle and this is the outside frame. So the next thing we need to do is create that rubber seal to go around, but I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to make a copy of our existing one and then make it fit this. So let's bring everything back for a moment. And let's tap into edit mode with our window here. Let's tap into edit mode with this, and let's select one face of our rubber seal. And with one face selected, hold down Control and keep pressing plus until all faces have been selected. Once we've done that, let's press Shift D and Y and bring a copy. I'll bring it forward for a moment in the air, in the clear where I can see it, and then I'll press P and I'll separate by selection. There we go. Let's tap out of edit mode, grab this here now and just rename this, and I'll call this seal so we know roughly where it is. Whoops, my caps were on. Let's do that again. And click enter. There we go. Okay, so let's grab this now and take this over to the door. The origins is over here, so let's reset the origins to the geometry. That's better. And then take this over to the door. And now let's isolate these two items again. So we'll take the door and the door seal, and let's hit the / key. Let's grab the seal on its own. Let's tap into edit mode with that. Make sure vertices selection is on. And now let's scale this and fit it to the door. So I'll grab these top seals like this. And I'll bring those down in the Z axis like this until they're about half and half. There we go. And I'll do the same with the bottom. I'll grab these bottom vertices and just take those up until they're about half and half. There we go. That's cool. Let's grab this side here now, and let's press G and X and take those over again until they're about half and half. Let's have a look at that. Move in a bit closer, and again I'll press G and X, and I'll kind of line it up with this angular curve here as well, so that looks good. And let's see what that looks like at the top, and that's worked out nice. So let's just do the same on this one now. Grab these ones, we'll take them over just with a gizmo, get them close, zoom in a little, and actually that was really not too bad, but I'll press G and X and just bring those out a bit more like that. There we go, that's cool. Okay, let's tap out of edit mode with that, and let's take that over so it sits within the door. And let's go back into solid mode and see what we've got. And maybe I need to reduce the thickness of my glass. Or I can increase the scale of my seal. Which shall we do? Maybe I'll increase the width of my seal. So I'll press S and Y and just do that. Just bring that out a little bit more in size. There we go, that's cool. Take this over a little bit more now in the Y axis, and we'll get this right in a minute. So I'll press G and Y and just bring it over a little bit more until we've got equal amounts showing either side. Maybe a tiny bit more. G and Y, bring it over. There we go, that's cool. Okay, that's what I wanted. So that door is nearly finished, believe it or not, so I just want to apply a bevel to it. So I'll grab the door and let's add modifier and generate and bevel. And of course that's too much, so we'll add 2 zeros to the right of the decimal point. Enter and see what that looks like, and that's not enough, so let's put that at about a 3 and we'll see how that does. There we go. Is that too much? I'm going to say that's too much. I'm going to take that to a 2 and enter, and I'll increase the segments to a 3. Whoops. And there we go, that's cool. So I'll actually go ahead and apply that modifier now. And we can do a shade auto smooth on this as well. And see how it all looks. And yeah, I'd say that's absolutely fine. Let's join our door seal now to our door. So I'll select the seal first, then the door, and then I'll press Ctrl J and join the two together. There we go, that's cool. Let's bring everything back for a minute and see how we're looking. And let's go ahead and take that back in the y-axis like this to kind of where it wants to be, which I'd say is about there. Maybe even back a little bit more. I'd say that's about right. And I think the next thing we actually need to do is now bring in a handle. So again, I'll just isolate this panel now that we have that in position. So I'll hit the / key on the numpad. And I think it's time to bring in our first item from BlenderKit. Let's see what we can find. So I'm going to tap on this panel here. And actually before I do that, I'll make sure that I'm in Bedroom 1 file. And I'll come down to the BlenderKit tab right here, click on this. And here in Import Settings, make sure that we reduce the max resolution quite low. I'll go down to 512, 512. We're going to import a lot of items. The majority of the furniture in the kitchen is going to come from BlenderKit, so we need to control our file sizes. So we'll keep that quite low. If you've got a super powerful computer, you can take that a bit higher if you want. I would leave it at 512 for now and see how you cope. Okay, now that we've done that, let's press 7 so we get this in the orthographic view. Let's click on here, and I'm going to click for door handle and click enter and see what we get. And we're getting some come up, that's good. Okay, what have we got? We've got one like this, a sort of stainless steel handle. And again, it's your preference. You can kind of right click on it and you can get a little bit of information how big the file sizes are. This is quite important that we do this. Make sure that we're not importing anything really too big, and of course when you import an item, go ahead and leave a review. All these people are working really hard to make these assets for us, so let's leave ratings for them. I don't think I'll go for that one though. Having said that, I'm going to see what else we've got. What's this one? I think I like that one. I'm going to left click on that one and bring it in. Maybe I should have just checked the size on that and see what it is. 3 megabytes. That's absolutely fine. That's nothing too bad at all. Okay, let's take a look at this item. This handle that we've got here. I'll just collect the whole thing and I'll hit the decimal point of the numpad to center on it. And this thing here is called an empty. And Blender calls it an empty because it contains no information. It has no faces, it has no vertices or edges. It's just an empty piece of information. It's an empty thing. It's just an empty piece of geometry. So why do we have it? We have it to be able to control these assets, because these components here, you can see these broken lines which show us actually these components are parented to this empty, and that's the purpose of this empty. So what parenting actually means is that if I go ahead and rotate this empty, so I'll rotate it on the Z axis, so I'll press RZ, you can see that I'm rotating all the other components. So that's basically what parenting is. This is the parent, and these items are the children or the child. So if I move the parent, the children will follow the item. That's why it's called parenting. If I move the child, it won't move the parent. But if I move the parent, it will move the child. And it's a really handy thing to do to be able to control multiple objects from one point. So we'll use this straight away. So let's go ahead and rotate that in the x-axis. So we'll press RX, 9, 0, enter. And we'll be parenting a bit as we go ourselves. Let's press 7 and go to the orthographic view and then take it over to the door. And zoom in a little. And let's rotate that. So let's rotate that. Press R180, enter. And now let's take that over and put that on the edge of the door. Something like that. I'll bring it back a little bit. And let's have a look at that. I don't think it's right in the Z axis, and it's not. It needs to go up. So we'll do that next. Let's take this up in the Z axis. And let's press Control 1 so we can see it. That was Control 1 on the numpad. And just visually, just check the height. Okay, so now we've got the handle in position. I think in this stage now, I'm actually going to delete this empty. But I can't just delete it because these handle is actually parented to it. So I need to deal with that. So I'm going to grab the handle itself. So let's find it. Black door handle, there it is. Let's grab it. And there's got to be more to it than that. So let's actually do this. Let's grab all these items. And with that done, I'm going to actually right click. And I'm going to go down to parent. And I'm going to clear and keep transformations. And let's do that. Now I can actually take the parent item here and I can just delete it. And we've kept the items in the position that we needed them. With that done, I can actually just select all these items now. So select the handle and I'll go all the way down to the bottom, which is this one here. Holding down Shift, I'll select those and I'll press Control J and I'll join them into one item to make life easier. So we just have one item there now. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to make a copy of this handle set and we need to mirror it to the opposite side of the door here. So let's do that next. So to do that, grab the door, tap into edit mode and grab this top edge here and press Shift S and cursor to the selected. There we go. We can tap out of edit mode now, grab the door, and we can right click and we can set the origin to the 3D cursor. And there we go. Now we could grab the handle set and we can press Shift D, right click twice and mirror in, I think it's the X axis. Let's do that. And it wasn't. Let's try the Y and let's turn off the X and there we go. That's the handle set in the correct position and that's cool. Alright, so I think we'll leave this lecture just there. And in the next lecture, let's create duplicates of these doors and let's position them in the correct angles all the way along so it looks really realistic. And then we'll make a duplicate set and put them on the other side as well. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye for now.